Effort. The definition of effort is a vigorous or determined attempt, and my coach loved to teach us about the importance of effort. One thing he talked about was how it's a little bit harder to put in 100% effort than it is not to. However, you get so much greater results. Another thing he talked about was the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. Like, there's a pain of discipline and putting 100% effort in. It's not fun, it's hard, it's difficult, it's painful. However, there's also a pain of regret, saying, man, what if I put 100% effort in? So whenever you're working, you're either going to feel the pain of discipline or the pain of regret in putting in effort. And putting effort is so important. It gives us so much greater results to what we're doing. For example, Kobe Bryant told once in an interview how, hey, if you wake up at 4 a.m. and you train at 5 and you train 4 times a day, how much more work is he putting in than someone who's training 2 times a day? To where that's what Kobe did in high school. He woke up that early to where he separated himself so much from his peers that he said, hey, it doesn't matter what they do in the summer, they're never going to catch up to me because, I'm 5 years ahead.
Look how much more training I have done by simply starting at 4. Right? And so now you do that, and as the years go on, the separation that you have with your competitors and your peers just grows larger and larger and larger and larger and larger. And by year 5 or 6, doesn't matter what kind of work they do in the summer, they're never going to catch up because they're 5 years behind.
Because he's been putting in work for 4 years, just wake up at 4 a.m. He's just putting in effort, putting in work, so where he's just separating himself because of the effort he's putting in. See, 99% of people aren't going to put in 100% effort into what they're doing. So by you putting 100% effort in, those a little bit harder, you're going to just see so much greater results, and you're just going to separate yourself so much from your peers and your opponents and your competitors. It says in Ecclesiastes 9:10, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. For there is no work or device or knowledge or wisdom in the grave where you're going. We must put 100% effort. We must do everything we do with all our might in order to get the best results out of what we're getting. So even though this is the case, everyone knows, hey, if I put in more effort, I'm going to get more results. But why don't people put in effort? Like, they know what to do, but they're not willing to do it. So why is this the case? After one of our games, we played, actually I don't need to tell you what high school it is. We played at high school, and they beat us pretty bad. I think it was at least 20, and we had a great team too. So, but this team made the Final Four in our state that year, so they were very good. But nonetheless, my coach didn't care. So he talked to us in the locker room. It had to be 30 minutes to an hour. Like, I'm probably 45 minutes to an hour. He was talking to us in the locker room after the game, just teaching us stuff, and my teammates hated it. I gotta be honest. They just hate when he's just talking for that long. Like, sometimes one time he talked for like 50 minutes after we lost a game. Like, it hurts. We don't want to sit down and hear someone talk for 50 minutes after we lost a game. But nonetheless, I still wrote down some things I learned from my coach, which one thing my coach talked about, well, I'm blessed to be born in one of the 20 richest counties in America, right? So this is what my coach talked about. He said how, hey, you guys on this team, you guys are blessed to be born in this county. Like, everything has been given to you guys. You guys didn't have to work for it. And he talked about how other coaches in other counties, they call it Sherman County, right? So, like soft like toilet paper, because everything has been given to us. We didn't have to work for it like other people in other counties do. Talk about how people in other counties, they got to get a job on the side. They got to do all this other work, and they have to put 100% effort, because they don't put 100% effort in, they may not eat that night. But everything has been given to us. We don't have to put 100% effort because someone else already has for us. So we just reaping the benefits of what other people have sown, what other people has given us. And that's what my coach talked about. Hey, you guys not putting 100% effort because you guys don't have to. But other kids, they have to. And he talked about how, hey, these are the people you're competing against. You're competing against people who they have to make the league. Because if they don't make the league, they're not getting out of where they're from. Right? So he said, hey, these guys have to put 100% effort. You guys don't have to. Not that that's bad, but these are the people you're competing against. You're competing against people who are putting in all this effort while you're not putting in effort. And the reason why we're not putting in effort is because we don't have a desire great enough. It says in Proverbs 16:26, the person who labors for himself, for his hungry mouth drives him on. See, the hungry person, if they're hungry enough, they're going to put in labor. They're going to put in effort because their desire to eat is great enough for them to put in 100% effort to what they're doing because they desire to eat that much. See, Eric Thomas said, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. I mean, the principle is simple. When you want something as bad as you want to breathe, as bad as you want to live, when you want something that badly, you're going to put in the work it takes to get it. I love telling people how, hey, you don't have what you want because you don't want it bad enough. Like, if you wanted something bad enough, you would put in the work it takes to get it. You put in the effort it takes to get it. Like, if you want something bad enough, your will is bent towards it. I told my friend a few days ago, he talked about how God is sovereign, but we also have free will. So how do we have free will? And I told him how, hey, when you're not a Christian, your free will is bent towards evil. So you have a will, but your will is bent towards what God hates. But when you're Christian, God changes your nature to where now your will is bent towards what God loves. You want to do what is pleasing to God. In the same way, when we have something that we desire enough, our will is bent towards it, to where we do the thing it takes to get it, because that's what our will is bent towards. That's what we want to do. But if you don't have something that you desire enough, you're not going to do the things it takes to get it. You're not going to put in the effort it takes to get it. Even though you know the benefits of effort, you're not going to put in effort because you don't want the thing bad enough. The second reason why people don't put in 100% effort is because they want to keep an excuse. They don't want to invest everything they have in something and it still not work out. I was playing basketball with someone. We were having a 1v1, and this guy, he was good, but I should have easily beat him, right? But my hip was hurting today, so I couldn't turn my hips as much. This is a real excuse, by the way. I'm not just making something up. So my hip was hurting, and I couldn't turn my hips as much. So he was scoring on me a little bit more than he should have, and I felt saying, yo, my hips hurting. That's why I can't turn my hips to just destroy you on defense, right? But I didn't make that excuse. I said, no, I'm gonna just try to beat him, even though my hip's hurting. I'm gonna just try to beat him, and I did win. But the thing is, some people would have kept that excuse. They would have said, hey, which is a real excuse, but they would have kept it and said, yo, my hip's hurting. I'm not gonna go 100%. So that when he wins, I have an excuse of saying, yo, I can tell myself my hip was hurting. That's why I lost, because I couldn't go 100%. And some people want that excuse more than they want to go 100% and lose. See, my coach talked about how it's all about investments. See, if you invest $20 into the stock market and let's say you lose that $20, are you gonna be upset? Yeah, I mean, not really. No, it's just $20. I can make that in, hour and a half. But if you invest $1 million in the stock market and like that, it's all gone. Yeah, you're gonna be upset. You're gonna be really mad. Why? Because you invested more into something. And the same thing happens when we put 100% into something. When we go 100%, we're investing all we have into something, and it might not work out. Like, we might lose $1 million, and that hurts more than it does to lose $20. It hurts to say, hey, I gave it my all and it still was not enough. So that's why people don't go 100%. They want to keep that excuse saying, like, a 1v1, yo, my hip was hurting. I couldn't beat you because I didn't go 100%. And they want that excuse rather than going 100% and seeing if they can win. See, which is the second reason why people don't put in effort. They want an excuse, or they don't want to give it their all and it still not work out. Which reminds me of what happened during our last game this season. Our point guard, we're down by 2. Our point guard has 2 free throws. He hits both free throws, right? So he sends it to overtime. But in overtime, things didn't work out and we lost. That was a state tournament game and we lost that game. And it really hurt. That's the last game of the season. We had a great season, great team, and things just didn't work out, right? But in the locker room after that game, our coach said, the only loss you have is when you don't take advantage of an opportunity. So let me rephrase that in different words. The only loss you have is when you don't go 100%. See, we had an opportunity to win the game and advance to state playoffs, right? But we didn't win. Does that mean we didn't take advantage of that opportunity? No, because we went 100%. See, every time you don't go 100%, you're not taking advantage of an opportunity. So we gave it our all and still lost. But guess what? We took advantage of the opportunity. Like my coach said, the only loss you have is not when you lose the game, but it's when you don't give it your all. So by putting 100%, we actually won in a sense, right? So we got to make sure to put in 100%, even though we may lose, because every time you don't, you're not taking advantage of opportunity, and that's actually the only real loss you have. Which is why we must always put 100% in. The reason why we don't is because of a lack of a desire. We got to desire something bad enough to want to put 100% in. As Eric Thomas said, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. You got to want something bad enough to where you're willing to do whatever it takes to get it. And that's when you put 100% effort. Another reason why we don't put 100% effort into what we're doing is because we want an excuse, or we don't want to give it our all and it still not work out. However, if you don't give it your all, you're not taking advantage of an opportunity, which is the real loss, right? So make sure to go 100% and take advantage of every single opportunity. If you like this video, make sure to like this video.